The energy around the Carolina Hurricanes is different right now, with Seth Jarvis breaking an NHL record with the OT winner, even Kotkaniemi getting on the board, Jordan Staal turning back the clock. The energy around the Hurricanes is starting to finally feel like it is their year, and they are somehow making this more impressive than it is on paper with a couple of key facts that we got to get into, Mark. The Carolina Hurricanes are the hottest team in the NHL, and let's just start with Seth Jarvis. Imagine having him on your hockey team. This guy just set an NHL record. He's now tied for second in the league in goals. He's top 10 in points. This is the heart of the Hurricanes team right now. There's a lot of great performances. I know Nikishin the other day scoring his first goal. Shayne, who we'll get to in a bit, has been amazing. But Seth Jarvis became the first player in NHL history with 4 game winners through his team's first 5 contests. And it's a big part of the reason, Mark, that the Carolina Hurricanes sit atop the Eastern Conference and the only undefeated team left in the NHL. And there are some other guys we're going to get into in a bit that you don't want to miss. Plus, again, like we talked about, some very interesting things that are just making this more impressive. But Jarvis is at the core of this, and I'm beyond impressed with what I have been seeing from him and this Hurricanes team so far.
And I think the biggest thing is, listen, we're going to break down one detail on that first line that makes this even more insane, but Seth Jarvis has been doing everything that this team needs, plus more, going out to score a goal, scoring OT winners, leading the team offensively. Everything he has done for this organization this year has been insane. Mikko Rantanen, who you do not need anyone else on this top line other than Seth Jarvis, and I don't think he's going to slow down. We're going to see a career year out of this kid, and he's going to. That's the biggest thing. 23, he's not even in his prime yet. What this Carolina team is doing is absolutely phenomenal, Josh, and it all starts with Seth Jarvis's hot start.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable, and again, to make this more impressive, like that top line, at least a guy that the Hurricanes thought would get some more production in Nick Ehlers, like, you know, he doesn't show up super well on these game scorecards, right at the bottom, actually, in this win versus the LA Kings, but Nick Ehlers still hasn't registered a point yet this year, Mark. In 5 games, he has 0 points. Same thing with Andrei Svechnikov. Jacob Slavin has been hurt a little bit, right? Missing some time. Yet the Hurricanes are still doing what they're doing, and that to me is really impressive. We'll get to their goaltending also in a moment, but again, just looking at the box score, who's contributing. I mean, Jackson Blake was off to a very hot start to the season as well, but Carrier getting an assist, Aho getting an assist, Jarvis, even Kotkaniemi. I mean, there's been so many jokes made about that contract and how he just cannot score a goal. Even he came out and did it, and again, Mark, I think with the injuries, with the guy who's not playing, like Slavin not there, right? Svechnikov and Ehlers both not being able to contribute, to still be 5-0 right there at the top of the league, basically, with only Colorado ahead of them, who have played an extra game, so that's basically cheating when it comes to the standings. It has been unbelievable to watch this team come together and win these games. Like, this game versus LA was close, but the Hurricanes have looked confident, and they have looked like the kind of team that is able to squeak out a win in any kind of situation, and that's just why I feel like the energy does feel very different this year than the past years of the Hurricanes teams that, you know, have been made fun of a bit for not going as far in the playoffs as some people think they should.
And I think the big thing is, listen, you're looking at Ehlers and Svechnikov. You want both these guys to be contributing, putting up points. But the fact they're doing this with 2 of their top players, their biggest fish in the free agency, one of the biggest free agent signings this offseason. When these guys get rolling, the ceiling is going to continue going up for this Carolina team. I want to give a shout out to Keandre Miller as well. That trade's looking like a fleece coming from the Rangers now, where we're seeing Miller step up in the top line role. He's going out. He's productive. And the big thing is Morrow, I don't even think has got into any game for the New York Rangers yet. So I think everything this team has done in the offseason, Josh, I think it's coming together perfectly. And it's not even a full puzzle at this yet, because we still have key guys that haven't either played a bunch of games or even went out to put up their first point this year.
Yeah, and like, again, like you say, you see here in this kind of win, a 4-3 win, a tough game. I mean, who's at the top but Jordan Staal, the captain, the guy, 2 goals in the first few minutes of the game, right? Like, everyone's showing up. Chatfield showing up. Again, like you said, Keandre Miller is consistently near the top of the game score charts in terms of his impact. And even Jarvis, who scored the game winner, was right down near the bottom with Aho. But another guy, too, like their defense core, Mark, has been unbelievable. And while he didn't pick up a point in yesterday's game, Shayne Gostisbehere is still tied for first as of the recording of this video with Cale Makar for the most points by a defenseman in the NHL. They have the number 1 defenseman in scoring. They have a top 10 player in scoring in Seth Jarvis. And they also have a guy who's tied for second, also Seth Jarvis, but, still the rest of the team, like Aho, he's still getting points. A lot of these other guys are still over a point per game, and even beyond just the scoring output they're getting and the team chemistry that they're getting, again, like without Slavin, their goaltending has been really good too. Brandon Bussi coming in and getting a nice performance there, 3 goals against, getting the win, but so far he's at a sub-2 goals against average this year, including this amazing save that kept the Hurricanes in the game. And with Kochetkov currently, again, as the recording on IR, it's like, Freddie Anderson and Bussi are kind of working well as a tandem, and the defense does have a lot to do with that, Mark. Again, they're going in transition, they're scoring a lot, they're putting pressure on the opposing teams, but in their own zone, they've also looked good, and it's just one of those things, like, this Hurricanes team kind of feels like they can do it all at the moment, and that's kind of scary for any opponent that they're going up against.
And I think the big thing is looking at the goaltending in particular, this is where seeing 2 goaltenders really stand out. Brandon Bussi is a guy that's standing up right now, going out and getting you quality starts and wins during the season. And I think this falls back onto, listen, Freddie Anderson, one of the best goaltenders in the NHL when healthy. And now that they have 3 goalies that you can rely on every single night, once they're healthy, I think this season is going to be a lot different from where we see Freddie Anderson go down. Maybe bring in, I think it was a guy like Spencer Martin joined at some point to play a couple of years ago, but you're going to have 3 guys that you can put out that are going to get you wins between the pipes. And I think this is going to lead to more wins, maybe a President's Trophy, listen, the curse. So maybe you don't want to win that, but this is a team that's going to go out and make a push, Josh. The goaltending, the defense, the scoring, there's nothing wrong with this Carolina team. And you still have guys that haven't stepped up yet. I can't get over how good they are to start this season.
It's unreal, and I also want to shout out something that I caught on the box score, because I got to just point out that Jordan Staal, like, even with that 2-goal game, he went 20-2 on the faceoff dot. I don't know. I can't remember the last time I saw something more insane. Also, shout out Keandre Miller for taking a faceoff, which I did not catch in the game, but 0 for 1. So, hey, shout out to him doing it all. But to end this off, Mark, like, we're talking about how the energy feels different in Carolina, because I think it does. We're seeing fans, we're seeing everyone say this actually feels like it's different. It feels like their year. Do you see this as a year? Again, there's a lot of season left to go, and there's a lot we still have to see from the Hurricanes players. Who's going to step up? Who's going to maybe take a step back? This kind of stuff. Like, will Stankoven step up? Will Jackson Blake stay at the pace he's at? Who knows? But doesn't this feel to you like a team that actually can break that playoff curse sort of that Carolina has? It feels like the kind of team that's just going to be tough to play against all year long, especially if they're getting the scoring output from their stars that they are now, and especially if guys like Svechnikov and Ehlers can step up and get back to where we know they can get to.
I definitely think so. This is a team that not only on paper looks incredible, one of the best defenses in the league, one of the best depths, but they also have a boatload of cap to use when going into deadline, so they can continue adding. In my opinion, and Josh, we've spoken on this before, and I'm very vocal about this. I think there is no better team in a better position than the Carolina Hurricanes right now, with players, with contracts, with how much cap space they have moving forward in a cap world where the cap is going up $10 million a year. This team also has Dallas's first-round picks from the Rantanen trade. I think this is a team that's not only good right now, but come deadline, if they want to add, they can add another big name. They can go into free agency, add more names. This team is doing something that we're not seeing any other team do. And to go back to your answer, because I'm rambling a little bit, yes, this is a team that I do truly think is going to make the push and get to the finals.
And we know that Carolina's not afraid to try and make some big splashes at deadline, even if those moves seem really risky. And, the Rantanen deal, of course, the Gensel deal, there's so many things that make Carolina an even more exciting team. We'd love to hear your thoughts on everything down below. The Hurricanes, the energy feels different. And hey, if you want more videos just like this on the Hurricanes or your other favorite teams, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You made it 9 minutes in, you're still here. I think we earned it at this point, because we have NHL videos on your favorite teams coming out every single day. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host Mark Pye. We'll catch you in the next one.